Hi everyone. Have you ever been to see your favorite sports team, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever it might be? Have you ever been to see them play live and seen the mascot? I've got a little challenge for you today. I'm going to show you a couple of different mascots and see if you can either name the mascot or the team that they represent. So what about this one first of all? Any ideas? Apparently, that is William the sheep, and he was New Zealand football mascot for the Under-20s World Cup. So there you go. Okay, here's another one. Who is this? Okay, what do you reckon? Well, apparently that's Tiki from the Warriors. And let's have a few more. How do you fare at these ones? What do you reckon? Do you know it? We've got Hunter for the Huskies. I'm going to put up a few now. How are you doing? Do you recognize any of them? Got Leo the Lion. It's getting a little crowded in here. Leo the Lion is for Wellington Rugby apparently, and the Highlanders. I don't know if the Highlander for the Highlanders has got a name. I don't know, you tell me. What about, we got Captain Hurricane down there. Again, this one for the Aces, the Auckland Aces. I don't know if it's actually got a name. I don't know. Blitz the Bull for the Bulls basketball team. Got Cheeky the Kia for the Breakers. And how about this last one? Any ideas? It's the mascot for the Ferns netball. But what's the mascot's name? Apparently it's Basil. We'll have a bit more about mascots in a minute. And it's time for our Bible story now. I think you'll recognize already who is in the Bible story, so it should be quite a nice refresher for you. But today is a story about a man who did not quit. And even when things got really hard for him, he kept doing what he knew God wanted him to do. His name was Nehemiah. The story today comes from Nehemiah chapter 6, verses 1 to 16. And so when you do your activities later, it'll be handy to have that passage in the Bible open nearby. But for now, let's hear a rendition of Nehemiah 6, 1 to 16.
There was once a guy named Nehemiah. He lived in Babylon and worked as a king's helper. One day, a man from his hometown of Jerusalem came to see him. "Nehemiah, I've got some terrible news. The wall that surrounds Jerusalem and protects us from enemy attacks is in bad shape. We need your help." Nehemiah knew what he had to do, so he asked permission from the king to travel back to his home and help rebuild the wall.
The king says, "I'm good to go."
When Nehemiah arrived, he saw the wall was in crumbles and that the people of Jerusalem were upset and scared. Nehemiah was glad he came to help, but he knew he couldn't rebuild the wall alone.
Come on, guys. Let's team up and rebuild the wall together.
Go team!
Nehemiah's team helped and worked hard, doing their part, but Jerusalem's enemies were not happy about this teamwork.
This is not good!
So they came up with a plan to stop this rebuild from happening and sent Nehemiah a message asking if they could talk to him. Nehemiah didn't want to quit, so he sent them back a message.
Sorry, guys. I'd love to sit and chat, but I'm super busy working with my team to rebuild this wall. Maybe next time.
Some people just won't quit. What do we do now?
Hey, I got it! How about we send another message? Maybe he'll feel bad and come see us.
They sent Nehemiah 5 more messages and even threatened to spread lies about him. But each time, Nehemiah replied the same way.
Listen, you're just making stuff up, and there is no way I'm quitting this rebuild to come talk to you.
His enemies realized this back and forth message thing wasn't going to work.
Okay, time for a new plan.
This time they hired a guy to try to convince Nehemiah to stop rebuilding the wall.
You shouldn't keep building the wall. People are trying to kill you. I think the only way you'll be safe is if you go to the temple with me.
Nehemiah realized that this guy had been sent by his enemies to scare him.
Are you saying I should go to the temple and hide instead of working on the wall? That's crazy. No way.
Instead of giving up, Nehemiah kept working and praying to God. He also encouraged the rest of his team to do the same.
Come on, guys. We can do it. Let's finish this wall.
Soon enough, the wall was finished and in a record time. Only 52 days. Things were tough for Nehemiah and his team, but they never quit. Instead, they worked as a team, and Jerusalem was again safe from their enemies.
Nehemiah and his team of wall builders did not quit. No matter how many messages the men sent, Nehemiah always replied in the same way. He was going to keep working. Nehemiah knew what God wanted him to do, and he was going to follow God no matter what. He prayed to God and asked God to strengthen his hands, and then encouraged his team to keep working. So where do our mascots from earlier come in? Well, mascots dress up in costumes at games, obviously. Even though they don't play the sport, they're an important part of the team because they help to get the crowd excited. They help to keep the momentum going. And even if the team is losing, then the mascot never quits cheering for the team. They never give up. And every team at some point experiences tough times, but a team can stick together and make it through. What are the things that God wants you to keep going with? In verse 9 of today's passage, which you can find in Nehemiah 6, Nehemiah prayed that God would strengthen his hands. He knew he had a tough challenge ahead of him, but he knew he needed to keep going and not give up, especially when there were enemies against him. Even on God's team, things won't always be easy. But no matter what, God can help us do the things that he's asking us to do. And so what we need to know today is that on God's team, players don't quit.